Welcome. I'm Ken Rockwell. This is my brand new Canon EOS R6 that I just had fly in a moment ago from FedEx from B&H in New York City. I'll admit I love B&H. I've been buying from B&H since the 1970s. They've always treated me right. Back then we had dozens of camera stores in New York City, and most of them were just there to take you for a ride. Those guys are all out of business. Thankfully, the B&H guys have always taken care of me, and they've always taken care of everybody, and that's why I still buy from them. Anyway, what have we got here? If we look at some of the fine print, let's see, we've got the usual things, usual certifications. What do we get here? In many languages, okay? It tells us we have a camera, a strap, a charger, and a battery. Good. Well, I am going to multiple languages. Let's take a look and see what we got. See what I got. You know what's unusual? There's a sticker here. Now, I don't know if B&H put the sticker on here or Canon did, because what's unusual is this number is not a B&H SKU. This is Canon's internal product number, 4082C002. In Japan, it's 4082C001. So I'm not sure if Canon did this or whoever did this. It looks a little odd, stuck over the graphic of the R. Probably says R6 on the top, but who knows? But again, this is all live and unscripted. This is real television, the way we did it back in the 1940s before we had video recorders. But of course, none of you remember that. Even I don't remember that because I wasn't around. Anyway, what have we got here? Paperwork, again, buy from a real dealer. You're going to get a real USA product, not a rip-off import. By import, I mean one that's not imported by Canon USA and has no guarantee. Make sure that your serial number here matches the serial number on your camera, because if it doesn't, you have no warranty and you got ripped off. Oh, fine print. What did they? These are always mistakes. I forget. Engineers always call these, if they have to have a warning, that means the engineers didn't do their job. What is this? Japanese. My daughter reads Japanese, and she's only 12. English. Follow the cautions. Otherwise, you may have a camera explode. Don't touch the screen storage compartment, A, because the temperature can increase by shooting for extended or movie recording. Aha! May cause burns. Oh, it says, okay, I'll show you where that is. You know, I shouldn't say I don't use these kinds of cameras for video. If I'm shooting series video, I'm renting from Panavision or Arri, and we're doing it in Hollywood with generators and trucks and grips and everything else. We're not shooting it on a DSLR or whatnot. That's for amateurs. And don't know, for both better results, I shoot this. This is being shot on my iPhone. Look at this, autofocus, near, far, near, far. If I shot this on any of the current cameras that people get excited about shooting video, it wouldn't even focus this close. It wouldn't even be able to broadcast live. I'm shooting here live, broadcasting internationally, all from my iPhone, powered by its own battery, and it would run for hours, and it does not overheat. That's American technology and American innovation. But in any case, the reason the Canon cameras probably get really hot is because their sensor is not directly in 4K. Well, neither is this in 4K. Anyway, what have we got here? We have the usual charger. I'm not even going to open this because I'm just going to save it for resale time. It's an LCE6. Canon's been shipping this probably for 10 years. I love this charger. Why? Because it's got an LED here. It blinks either once, twice, or 3 times in little bursts in amber to tell you it's charging, to tell you if it's either 50% or below, or 75 or 50%. What is it? Either it's half dead or 50% or 75% charged. And when it gets to 100, it's just a steady green light. That means you can see it from across the hotel room and see what status your battery has. This is the new battery. I'm probably not going to even open this. I've been using my third-party Watson batteries, my LPEN E6Ns, I think they are, from Watson. They have the price of these, and I don't know, I just do it because I got my new third-party battery from B&H and wanted to play with it, and it works great in my R5. So we've got that, and in here we've got, this is polypropylene. It feels like, yeah, PP, polypropylene. And one of you readers was kind enough to explain that whatever this symbol is, this is Korean. So welcome to the big world out there. Okay, polypropylene. Polypropylene is good stuff. Maybe make some capacitors. What do we got in here? We've got a strap. I never use these straps. I use whatever straps I use and save all this stuff for resale. Now, another reason it's important to buy from a real dealer like the ones that I recommend on my website, kenrockwell.com, is, again, notice the box is totally unsealed. If you didn't buy from a real dealer, again, never buy at retail. If you walk into a store and a guy hands you a camera and they don't have a used department, that's already a used camera. And it's sad that some people who don't know any better will pay full price for a used camera from a dealer who's opened it up. Anytime anyone's opened the box, other than at the factory, illegally, it's a used camera, and you should get a discount for that. Now, notice it's unsealed. This appears that it has a seal sticker here with its serial number, but the thing is, it's not really a seal because I can open this without damaging anything And when I'm done using the camera, or if I was an unscrupulous dealer, which is what retail dealers oftentimes tend to be, they act like they're your friend, but guess what? They're everybody's friend, and everybody's taking home the cameras on weekends and play with them, then reselling it to you as if it was new, and it's not. Anyway, let's look at our camera. Okay? You know, no mysteries here. Look at this. It's got a big depth of field preview button, a big lens release button, where it belongs. Fuji and Sony put them someplace stupid, like in here, so you can't even find it when you're out in the field trying to change lenses. What it was warning about burning you is this surface here, it was warning you. But again, I don't shoot video with these. I'm a photographic artist. I'm not a photographer, and I'm not a videographer. Screen storage compartment. That's what they call this spot here, where the screen goes. May get hot. Do not touch. No tow car. Okay. But again, that's just for shooting video. I don't shoot video. Honestly, I prefer the layout of the controls compared to my EOS R5. Oh, interesting. Okay, because it's got a direct one-click, boom, C1, C2, C3, all these different modes. As you've seen on my R5, it's got a mode button and then a ring, so you have to press the button and wait a little while, look at it LCD, and it doesn't work as cleanly as this. What's interesting is my EOS RP, the little $999 or $899 camera that I love so much, this goes out to the edge, so I can turn that ring with my thumb. Now, this isn't quite as good as the RP because I've got to reach forward a little bit. These are subtle things, but when you shoot all day, every day as I do, this is what I look for. You have a thumb nubbin. This is a huge rear window here. It doesn't, it's all small here in video, but the thing is the R5 has one of the best finders I've ever used. The optics are superb. Okay, it's got a switch, it's got that. This control, similar controls. I do prefer this to the EOS R5 controls. It's got this ring. Doesn't have a four-way rear controller. It's got the usual EOS ring for compensation, and it's got a thumb controller. So when you're moving around autofocus zones, you're scrolling all around, you're using this. You're not using that. Card slots. It's got a CF Express and an SD card slot. CF Express, you can pop in an XQD card. It fits, but it doesn't work because the technology is different on the inside. And what I got, at least on my R5, is I got warning formats, inappropriate formats, card not readable, and attempting to format it, it just wouldn't work. I got errors. There's also no voice recorder on this. If you're shooting news and action, whenever I'm shooting a news article, the point is I'll get people's spellings of their names or talk about what's going on or who's in the picture or what just happened, and I'll hold down the mic button and leave a note attached to the image so I can figure out what happened later when I finally get back. For connectors, mic and headphone, fairly common. We've got a remote terminal. What kind of remote terminal? Okay, it's got a little 2.5 millimeter. I'll admit, I've had very good luck with the app. With the EOS RP, the app actually connects reasonably easily every time I fire up the app, and it doesn't take a half an hour to reconfigure and enter passwords and stuff. It just goes. So I'm very happy with the app. HDMI and USB. Okay, USB-C and HDMI out. On the bottom, critically, is it made? Made in Japan. God bless Canon. Thank you very much. Canon is still first rate. They don't offshore their stuff to God knows where, like Nikon and Sony and Fuji now even step down and sends everything off to China to get made. Oh, what's this connector here? I'm going to assume that's for the grip. When you slap your grip in there. Let's see. Shutter open or shutter closed? Smooth brain? Wrinkly brain. Shutter closed. I like that. You see, unlike Sony, unlike Nikon, this is going to keep my shutter from getting crud on it when I open the compartment here. So when you turn off your camera, again, overnight, you don't have bugs and stuff crawling around in there and dirt getting in there. I would think that would be obvious. One of the disadvantages is if you leave your lens, this is back the days of rangefinder cameras. With SLR cameras, the mirror simply reflected it through the prism and the light would tend to go out the back and it wouldn't get absorbed, wouldn't get too hot, wouldn't crack too much. With rangefinder cameras back in the 1940s, 50s, 20s, 30s, if you left your lens with the cap off on a picnic table, the sun would come by and melt your shutter. And actually, well, it wouldn't melt. It would be cloth. It would actually cut through the shutter. With this camera, you can melt this. Deja vu, is this live on Real Locker? No, I'm doing a live broadcast here. I did the same thing with the EOS R5 about a week ago, but now that my R6 showed up, this is all live. Why? Because I love you guys. Why not put it in whatever? This way I also know how it goes back in the box when it's time for resale time. But my R5 has an adjustment, or I should say has a menu, so that I can set this either to stay open or stay closed when I turn off the camera. And actually, Canon instructed us, too. They said, unlike they've always said, turn off the camera when you change lenses, but it's never really mattered. It matters more now because that'll actually make sure that the shutter's closed so crud doesn't get on your sensor. Two little microphone holes, illuminators. This top here feels kind of like plastic. This is a very lightweight camera. This is going to be a great little camera. I think that's about it for, yeah, well, that's unboxed as best it is. That's all there is to unbox. Tell you what I'm going to do now. I'm going to put this back, and then I'm going to answer your questions here live, because I see a couple have come in on the comments section. Again, this is Ken Rockwell with KenRockwell.com and KenRockwell.tv. If you put something in the comments section, I'll be able to reply to it live here. This looks like a place that they might put a kit lens, but strangely enough, not, because when this top goes in, unless you use a different top section for a kit lens kit. In fact, no, that's where the charger goes. So, okay, there we go. Here's all your paperwork. Oh, I should say, let's see. The manual is, this is one big, fat, inch-thick manual, 2 centimeters for our European friends. It comes in 3 languages, the 3 American languages, Espanol, Francais for our friends to the north, and Anglais. Gee, does anybody read those anymore? Honestly. You know, God bless them, though. It costs them money to print that, and it's one of those things you really have to do bless them, because it costs them money to print that. Everybody who buys this camera has to pay for that, or Canon has to pay for that, and if only 1 out of 100 read it, that's why sometimes features and accessories get dropped, because not that the company's being cheap, but in the real world, you have to say, well, gee, everyone has to buy this. In other words, if we make the camera compatible with some like 35-year-old lens, problem Nikon has, Canon doesn't have that problem, but you know, everybody's got to pay for that. And if only 1% of the people use it, that means the 1% of the guy who's using it actually pay, you know, well, whatever. Let me look at your comments. Let's see. Do I dare? That would be too ugly. No, actually, I have to apologize. I don't have a reverse camera button on here. Do I? No, I don't. I probably do. Share, save highlight, enable flash, mute microphone. Oh, yeah, that would be good. Okay, let's look at your comments. And this is going to get boring here for the visual. What do you want to look at? Okay. Oh, Travis says hi. Hi, Travis. Wolftick says hi, Ken. Hey. Okay, Steve, tech guy, says he heard the R6 can do auto ISO and CLOG. Oh, Canon log? Honestly, I don't know. That's video. If I'm shooting video, I use a video camera. Saving Kalo. You know, before I would save everything to buy an EOS R6, I would just get the RP and love life. The RP is a great little camera. The only thing it doesn't do is it doesn't run faster than 5 frames a second or have a second card slot, but it is an awesome camera. And everybody tends to ignore it. I would think dollar for dollar, it's the best. It's certainly, I prefer it to anything from Sony, anything from Fuji, anything from Nikon. The only things that might be better, the R6 or R5, but even those are bigger. And as I showed you with that mode dial, I still, honestly, when you actually shoot all day, every day for a living, the key is the camera has to get out of your way. You want to just grab the camera and get whatever's in your head, whatever's in front of you, onto your film or onto your card. You don't want to argue with menus or controls. So honestly, I love the RP. It's got the best ergonomics. Carlos, you know, Kyle, I'm sorry, sir. It looks like it's Italian. I don't know how to pronounce that. He bought a Canon 35-1.4L. Thanks for your review. Hey, I love that lens, and I got it cheap when they were just discontinuing it back, I don't know, about 5 years ago. Okay, Steve Tech Guy says, what firmware version did I get with my R6? Gee, I don't know. I haven't turned it on yet. To be honest, my R5 showed up last week with 1.0.0, and they just announced a 1.1.0, which I installed. I don't know if there's been any update to the R6 firmware. I'm just a camera analyst. My photography artwork. Oh, Mr. K. Verdi. Again, I have been winning contests, been published and held in museums for decades. I've been shooting over 50 years. You're not going to see it here on YouTube. If you want to see what Ken Rockwell does, go to kenrockwell.com, and even that homepage has some of my work. And if you want to see more, just click on Gallery, although I'll have to admit my gallery pages are mostly my most recent trips to Yosemite as opposed to my decades worth of work. There's stuff on my gallery shot on 4x5 in Guatemala where I had to hand carry my view camera all over the third world in Latin America, which was fun. But boy, was it a pain. No, so I would say always, in fact, most YouTubers, they're not photographers. They're just YouTubers. You always want to look at a man's portfolio or a woman's portfolio. Go to their website, go to their gallery, go to whatever museum, one-man shows they have, or juried exhibitions, and see their work. And if they don't have any work, then they're just a talker. In fact, at kenrockwell.com, just hit my search bar and look for the 2 kinds of photographers that talk about, most of them are just kids, always male, just talking about features and specs from the camera company's marketing department. Nobody with any portfolio of work. By all means, look at someone's work before you look at, look at their artwork before you take any opinions from them about cameras. It's like a lot of things. The people with the most opinions are those who do the least shooting and the most talking. So thank you, Mr. K. Verity. Please look at kenrockwell.com. Look at that homepage. Look at my gallery section. You'll see the sort of stuff I shoot. And there you go. Too bad C1, C2 doesn't apply to video modes. You know, Steve Tech Guy, I don't know. I haven't tried it. I don't shoot video. I don't know why I couldn't put the camera in video mode and then save it to C1, C2, C3. So I don't help. Deja vu. Thank you. Wolftick sent me some funny little videos. Okay. Okay, here. FutureWorks says C1, C2 does apply to video. So there you go. Korean AVG says he picked up his R6 on Thursday. What is today? Wednesday? Well, whatever. Along with an RF70 to 200-2.8, his RP has the F. Oh, yeah. And honestly, too, when you get one of these Canon cameras, the guys shooting Nikon are, I can't say screwed on TV, but it's suboptimal because the FTZ only works with about half of Nikon lenses. The rest it won't autofocus with or work properly. With the EF to RF ring adapters on Canon, honestly, my 16 to 35 IS works fantastically. My 100 to 400 IS works fantastically. You don't even have to buy new lenses. You're not losing anything. Unreal's Locker says, can I charge with USB-C? I assume so. The other cameras, the EOS R, EOS RP, and EOS R5 all charge with USB-C. And, charging only when turned off. I forget. I don't think it charges at the same time, but, you'd have to try that. I can't remember. How does it feel with the 100 to 500? Honestly, John, I just opened my 100 to 500 5 minutes ago, and I haven't plugged it together. It should feel great. The 100 to 500 is a good size lens, and it's not very heavy, so it's going to feel good. Hey, FutureWorks says USB charging with grip. Okay. So is the 1080 30p noticeably different than the RP? Wolftick videos. I haven't tried. I don't shoot videos with these. I don't think it would be any different because each camera has more than enough resolution to do 1080p, so it shouldn't make any difference at all. Okay, would I say RF 70 to 200 or RF 100 to 500? Honestly, I've already said in the RF 100 to 500 unboxing I just did, I'm a 100 to 400 kind of guy. I haven't shot the 70 to 200 2.8 in probably since the days of film when we actually needed f2.8 so we could actually handhold the stupid thing in daylight. I've always been a 100 to 400 guy because to me, I don't miss the 70 to 100 range at all. The newest 100 to 400 focus is so close, even closer than 70 to 200. I don't have that in my way, and I love having the range between 200 to 400 right at the twist of a wrist. And with this, by all means, I go 100 to 500. But we'll see. Again, I'm going to do a full review. My full reviews are always up at kenrockwell.com. This YouTube stuff is just for fun. In fact, a lot of the lenses, I had YouTube videos I shot, but I just don't know if I'm ever going to get the time to edit them here on YouTube. But go to kenrockwell.com. Click the links for Canon or whatever, and it's all up there in far more detail than I can ever put on YouTube. And also along with the original sample files straight from the camera, so you can download it and do whatever you want to do and look at with. Okay, FutureWorks says Canon's launching a pair of new RF mount Canons along with a C-Log 2 and C-Log 3. Could be. Korean says, I should get version 1.1 firmware. In other words, for those of you who asked, another reader here says he got his R6 the other day, and it came with 1.1 firmware. 7211 asks why I hate China. I don't hate China. It's their form of government, their communist government. The working conditions, which are conditions that we outlawed in the developed world, like back in the 18th or 19th century. It's totalitarianism. People get pulled away. You're walking down the street and a van comes by and just grabs citizens off the street and they don't see. I do not support China. It's not the Chinese people who are wonderful. 5,000 years plus of culture and innovation. But under the current communist government, that's why. It's all their government and the way it treats their people. I can't support that. Oh, Cow says it's Brazilian, Mr. Paiva here. So I'm sorry that I couldn't pronounce your name while reading these microscopic characters on my iPhone. Okay, Steve, is the useless dual pixel RAW, his words, still being used? I don't know. I don't shoot RAW, and I don't know. Good. He checked his Z6. It's made in Japan. Yeah, Nikon makes the Z cameras. Most recently has made the Z cameras in Japan. But the lenses are all coming from God knows where. That's the problem. No CD cards. I don't have any CD cards. CF, they're SD cards or CF Express. My comparison between the 5 and 6. Yes, look for that at kenrockwell.com. 2 SD cards. No, it's not 2 SD cards. It's an SD card and a CF Express. And to be honest, what I plan to do is bite the bullet and buy the cheapest CF Express card I can and leave that in there purely as backup, and then I'll run from the SD cards. Steve Tech Guy says he had the RP, moved to the R, and now getting the R6 for sports and birds and flight and better 4K video. There you go. The RP was, I forget. I never really tried to shoot action on. I know the Nikon Z50 is awful for action. A lot of mirrorless is. These cameras now should be even better for action than the old Sony A9 and A9-2, which were the first attempts at a high-speed mirrorless camera, but had crappy ergonomics. And those from the last decade. Those from 2019 and like 2016. Please, yes, my RF85 F2 is on order. I've got so much stuff coming to me as it comes in. Pleasant Katie says he's an advanced amateur and want to invest in a good camera. They're torn between Canon R5, R6, or Fuji GFX. What kind of applies to oranges? Which do I like more? I prefer Canon way more. I find Fujis are only good for portraits and people and skin tones. They're all very muted for nature and landscape and brilliant colors that I like. I way prefer Canon. I also way prefer the handling of the Canon cameras and ergonomics. I don't like Fujis. In fact, the only Fuji, I have an X-T30, but I also like to use my X100 series for photographing my kids because it has incredible ability with its flash system. But no, I'm not a fan of the Fuji cameras for most things. Okay, 7201 sounds like American 2020. Yes, indeed, this is America proudly in 2020. Most of the lenses are from China, Lars says. Well, I don't know what lenses he's talking about. Not with Canon, that's for sure. In fact, nothing from Canon comes from China that's lenses or cameras. When they take their stuff that has to be value price, it's made in Taiwan, which is you folks, well, if you worked in manufacturing would know, 3 times the manufacturing and labor cost to make something in Taiwan as opposed to China. Let's see. Okay, I think that's about it for questions. If nobody else has any more questions, I'm going to get off of this and get out to go shooting these. Thank you again very much for watching Ken Rockwell, kenrockwell.com, and kenrockwell.tv.